California Real Estate Licensing Exam Questions. Question 1. A newly licensed salesperson wants to run advertisements without naming a broker. How should that plan be evaluated for Imani in Santa Barbara? Option A. Advertising must properly identify the responsible broker as required by law. Option B. A phone number is enough if the salesperson uses a nickname. Option C. The salesperson may advertise alone if the price is under $1,125,000. Option D. Broker identity is needed only for commercial property. The correct answer is option A. Advertising must properly identify the responsible broker as required by law. California advertising rules require proper license and responsible broker identification in many real estate ads. A phone number or nickname does not provide the required license disclosure. A transaction price threshold does not remove identification requirements. The rule is not limited to commercial property. Question 2. During a listing for a condominium unit in Oakland, why must the broker put the seller's interests ahead of the broker's personal gain for Amara in Oakland? Option A. Caveat emptor eliminates agency duties. Option B. Loyalty is a fiduciary duty owed to the principal. Option C. Escrow instructions replace fiduciary duties. Option D. The buyer becomes the broker's principal automatically. The correct answer is option B. Loyalty is a fiduciary duty owed to the principal. Loyalty requires an agent to place the principal's interests above the agent's competing interests. Caveat emptor does not erase fiduciary obligations. Escrow instructions do not replace the agency relationship. The buyer does not become the listing broker's principal merely by making an offer. Question 3. A licensee is buying a vacant parcel personally from Theo. What disclosure issue is most important? Option A. The transaction must be conducted only by auction. Option B. A personal purchase cancels all disclosure duties. Option C. The licensee must disclose the license status and personal interest when required. Option D. The licensee may conceal the license if no commission is charged. The correct answer is option C. The licensee must disclose the license status and personal interest when required. A licensee acting as a principal may need to disclose license status and personal interest to avoid misleading the other party. An auction is not required merely because a licensee buys property. Personal involvement increases rather than eliminates the need for clear disclosure. Charging no commission does not automatically remove disclosure obligations.
Stressed about your AccuPlacer exam? We can take AccuPlacer exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 4. A tenant with a disability requests a reasonable accommodation for a service animal. How should a property manager evaluate it for Rosa in Palm Springs? Option A. Charge any pet fee without reviewing the request. Option B. Reject it because all animals are legally pets. Option C. Approve it only if every other tenant votes yes. Option D. Consider the request under fair housing accommodation rules. The correct answer is option D. Consider the request under fair housing accommodation rules. Fair housing rules may require reasonable accommodations for disability-related needs, including assistance animals. Automatic pet fees can violate accommodation principles if applied without proper review. An assistance animal is not treated the same as an ordinary pet for all purposes. Tenant voting does not determine fair housing compliance. Question 5. A listing agreement gives one broker the right to a commission no matter who produces the buyer. Which listing type is this for Ben in San Jose? Option A. Exclusive right -to sell listing. Option B. Open listing. Option C. Net lease. Option D. Quitclaim listing. The correct answer is option A. Exclusive right -to sell listing. An exclusive right -to sell listing gives the broker commission rights if the property sells during the listing term under the agreement. An open listing allows multiple brokers and usually rewards only the procuring broker. A net lease is a rental arrangement, not a brokerage listing type. A quitclaim deed transfers possible title interests and is not a listing agreement. Question 6. How is community property generally relevant when spouses acquire California real estate during marriage? For Olivia in Stockton. Option A. It converts the property into federal land. Option B. It may create marital ownership rights depending on source of funds and title facts. Option C. It eliminates the need for escrow instructions. Option D. It always belongs only to the spouse who signed the offer. The correct answer is option B. It may create marital ownership rights depending on source of funds and title facts. California community property rules can affect ownership interests when spouses acquire property during marriage. Community property does not turn private land into federal land. Escrow instructions are still needed to close and document the transaction. Signature on an offer alone does not settle marital property rights. Question 7. A seller wants to transfer title with implied California covenants that the property was not previously conveyed by the grantor. Which deed is most associated with that promise for Jonas and Ventura? Option A. Reconveyance deed. Option B. Quitclaim deed. Option C. Grant deed. Option D. Lease agreement. The correct answer is option C. Grant deed. A California grant deed includes certain implied covenants, including that the grantor has not previously conveyed the same estate. A reconveyance releases a deed of trust after debt satisfaction. A quitclaim deed transfers whatever interest the grantor may have without the same implied covenants. A lease gives possession rather than title ownership. Question 8. Why are priorations used at closing for items such as taxes or rent for Eva in Riverside? Option A. They remove the need for title insurance. Option B. They determine whether the deed is valid. Option C. They convert a fixed minus rate loan to an adjustable loan. Option D. They allocate expenses or income between buyer and seller as of the closing date. The correct answer is option D. They allocate expenses or income between buyer and seller as of the closing date. Priorations fairly divide recurring expenses or income based on the parties' periods of ownership. Title insurance addresses title risk, not expense allocation. A deed's validity depends on deed requirements rather than prioration math. Loan type is set by the financing documents.
Are you looking for AccuPlacer exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access AccuPlacer exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get AccuPlacer exam answer key today.
Question 9. Why does a borrower review APR in a residential loan disclosure for Tarek in Pasadena? Option A. APR reflects the cost of credit as an annual rate including certain finance charges. Option B. APR guarantees the home will appreciate. Option C. APR records the deed automatically. Option D. APR is the same as property tax assessment. The correct answer is option A. APR reflects the cost of credit as an annual rate including certain finance charges. APR helps borrowers compare credit costs by expressing certain loan charges as an annualized rate. Credit disclosures do not guarantee appreciation. Recording is handled through county records rather than APR. Property tax assessment is a separate public finance issue. Question 10. How should trust fund records be treated in a brokerage handling multiple deposits for Andre in Los Angeles? Option A. They can be replaced by social media messages. Option B. They should clearly identify receipts, disbursements, balances, and parties entitled to the funds. Option C. They may be recreated from memory after a dispute. Option D. They are unnecessary if escrow eventually closes. The correct answer is option B. They should clearly identify receipts, disbursements, balances, and parties entitled to the funds. Trust fund records should accurately track money held for others and support accountability. Social media messages do not substitute for formal trust fund records. Memory is not a reliable record-keeping system. Closing escrow does not erase prior accounting obligations. Question 11. Why should a broker avoid saying no defects when the broker has not verified all conditions for Lena in Long Beach? Option A. Brokers may never discuss property condition at all. Option B. Only appraisers can speak in complete sentences. Option C. Overstating condition can mislead buyers and create disclosure risk. Option D. The phrase automatically transfers title. The correct answer is option C. Overstating condition can mislead buyers and create disclosure risk. A licensee should be careful not to make unsupported statements about property condition. Brokers can discuss known facts while avoiding misrepresentation. Appraisers do not have exclusive authority over all property descriptions. Words about condition do not transfer title. Question 12. A condominium unit has several recent comparable sales nearby. Which valuation approach is most likely emphasized for Miguel in Chula Vista? Option A. Income approach only. Option B. Subdivision public report method. Option C. Cost approach only. Option D. Sales comparison approach. The correct answer is option D. Sales comparison approach. The sales comparison approach relies on comparable sales and is often emphasized for residential property. The income approach focuses on income minus producing property. A public report is a subdivision disclosure process, not a valuation approach. The cost approach estimates land value plus replacement or reproduction cost minus depreciation. Question 13. How many square feet are in 20 acre or acres of land for Sophia in Sacramento? Option A. Acres multiplied by 43,560 square feet. Option B. Acres multiplied by the interest rate. Option C. Acres multiplied by 5,280 square feet. Option D. Acres divided by 12 monthly payments. The correct answer is option A. Acres multiplied by 43,560 square feet. 1 acre contains 43,560 square feet, so acreage is converted by multiplying by that number. Interest rates do not convert acreage. 5,280 measures feet in a mile, not square feet in an acre. Monthly payments are unrelated to land area. Question 14. A tenant transfers the entire remaining lease term to another person. What is that transfer usually called for Owen and Irvine? Option A. Substitution of trustee. Option B. Assignment. Option C. Accretion. Option D. Quiet title. The correct answer is option B. Assignment. An assignment typically transfers the tenant's entire remaining leasehold interest to another party. Substitution of trustee relates to deeds of trust. Accretion is gradual land buildup by natural forces. Quiet title is a court action to resolve title claims. Question 15. How can CC and RS affect a planned development home for Grace in Modesto? Option A. They guarantee the home has no defects. Option B. They set the federal funds rate. Option C. They create private restrictions on property use within the community. Option D. They replace all state fair housing laws. The correct answer is option C. They create private restrictions on property use within the community. Covenants, conditions, and restrictions are private controls that may limit use, improvements, or community obligations. CC and RS do not guarantee physical condition. Federal interest minus rate policy is unrelated to CC and RS. Private rules cannot override fair housing law. Question 16. Why should a licensee avoid giving technical cleanup advice for contaminated soil for Malik in Fresno? Option A. Soil contamination is only a tax issue. Option B. Licensees are always licensed engineers. Option C. Cleanup advice is never important to buyers. Option D. Environmental remediation requires qualified expertise beyond ordinary brokerage practice. The correct answer is option D. Environmental remediation requires qualified expertise beyond ordinary brokerage practice. A real estate license does not make someone an environmental engineer or remediation expert. Contamination may involve health, legal, lending, and value concerns beyond taxes. Licensees are not automatically engineers. Cleanup issues can be very important to buyers and lenders. Question 17. What does an ad valorem property tax primarily depend on for Elena in Anaheim? Option A. Assessed value of the property. Option B. Number of open houses held. Option C. Color of the roof. Option D. Broker commission split. The correct answer is option A. Assessed value of the property. Ad valorem taxes are based on assessed value rather than marketing activity or cosmetic choices. Open houses do not set property tax basis. Roof color does not determine tax value by itself. Commission splits are private brokerage matters. Question 18. A team advertisement omits the responsible broker identity. What compliance risk does this raise for Carlos in Monterey? Option A. The deed becomes void immediately. Option B. The ad may fail required brokerage identification standards. Option C. The buyer receives a tax exemption. Option D. The listing automatically becomes an open listing. The correct answer is option B. The ad may fail required brokerage identification standards. Team and salesperson advertising must still comply with responsible broker identification requirements. A deed is not voided automatically by an advertisement. Tax exemptions are not created by advertising errors. Listing type is determined by agreement, not ad omission. Stressed about your California real estate exam? We can take California real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. Why is continuing education required for California license renewal for Diego in San Diego? Option A. It allows licensees to ignore supervision. Option B. It replaces the original license examination. Option C. It helps licensees stay current with law, ethics, agency, fair housing, and practice obligations. Option D. It guarantees every transaction will close. The correct answer is option C. It helps licensees stay current with law, ethics, agency, fair housing, and practice obligations. Continuing education supports ongoing competence and renewal compliance. Supervision duties remain even after continuing education. The original licensing exam is not replaced retroactively. Education cannot guarantee transaction outcomes. Question 20. Why is honesty on a license application important for Layla in Bakersfield? Option A. Application answers are never reviewed. Option B. Only property managers must be truthful. Option C. Honesty matters only after a first sale closes. Option D. A false or incomplete answers can affect license issuance or discipline. The correct answer is option D. False or incomplete answers can affect license issuance or discipline. Applicants must be honest and truthful because the licensing process evaluates fitness and qualifications. Applications are subject to review. Truthfulness applies broadly to license applicants and licensees. The duty does not begin only after a sale. Question 21. Why might rental restrictions in HOA documents matter to an investor for Nate in Santa Barbara? Option A. They may limit leasing plans and affect expected income use. Option B. They make title insurance illegal. Option C. They require the investor to become an appraiser. Option D. They set the federal tax rate. The correct answer is option A. They may limit leasing plans and affect expected income use. Rental limits can directly affect an investor's ability to lease the property and earn income. Title insurance remains lawful and separate. Owning rental property does not require becoming an appraiser. Federal tax rates are not set by HOA documents. Question 22. A tenant is wrongfully deprived of possession or essential use of a rental condominium unit. Which concept may be involved for Anika in Oakland? Option A. Loan subordination. Option B. Constructive eviction or breach of quiet enjoyment depending on facts. Option C. Accretion. Option D. Deed reconveyance. The correct answer is option B. Constructive eviction or breach of quiet enjoyment depending on facts. Tenant remedies may arise when a landlord substantially interferes with possession or habitability. Subordination changes lien priority. Accretion concerns natural land buildup. Reconveyance releases a deed of trust after payoff. Question 23. How does a lot minus and minus block description identify a vacant parcel for miles in Santa Rosa? Option A. By the borrower's credit score. Option B. By the broker's commission agreement. Option C. By reference to a recorded subdivision map or plat. Option D. By the tenant's security deposit. The correct answer is option C. By reference to a recorded subdivision map or plat. Lot minus and minus block descriptions rely on recorded subdivision maps to identify parcels. Credit scores relate to financing. Commission agreements do not define parcel boundaries. Security deposits are landlord minus tenant funds. Question 24. A borrower asks whether a prepayment penalty exists. Why is the answer important for Nia in Palm Springs? Option A. It determines whether the deed is valid. Option B. It gives the broker title to the property. Option C. It changes the property's zoning district. Option D. It can affect the cost of paying off or refinancing the loan early. The correct answer is option D. It can affect the cost of paying off or refinancing the loan early. Prepayment terms can materially affect a borrower's future financial flexibility. Deed validity is separate from loan prepayment terms. A broker does not gain title because of a prepayment clause. Zoning is a land minus use matter. Question 25. A buyer receives a closing credit from the seller. What is the main effect for Silas in San Jose? Option A. It reduces the buyer's cash needed at settlement subject to contract and loan rules. Option B. It voids all inspection reports. Option C. It transfers the seller's license to the buyer. Option D. It changes the property into personal property. The correct answer is option A. It reduces the buyer's cash needed at settlement subject to contract and loan rules. A seller credit can offset buyer closing costs or other agreed items within legal and lender limits. Inspection reports remain relevant despite settlement credits. Real estate licenses are not transferred through credits. Property classification is not changed by a credit.